Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. And yeah, I'm still playing Fallout 4. It's still going on. I've played a lot of it. I've played a lot of it. Pretty much every day since it was released, there's been a whole bunch of Fallout 4. I finished up my first playthrough. It is, well, finished as in I finished the main quest at the very least. I'm just kind of using my first playthrough now as sort of a achievement playthrough. And then we have the Big Bow edition playthrough, which is going on right now. I wondered about calling it the Big Bow edition because I don't know if people might think that the videos are done by Big Bow. That is not the case, but it is a character modeled after Big Bow, and it is a melee character, and blah blah blah. And then right here, this is my survival difficulty playthrough, which it's tough. Survival's tough. It probably would have been easier if I had gone for a really proper melee build for this, but I didn't want to do that. Or even a stealth build, or really anything. But anyways, the challenge is part of the entertainment value. So, yeah, so this week, okay. Tonight, again, I doubt there will be roll manging. Just be surprised if there is. Just until... I don't know what we're exactly waiting on. But I know that I'm not planning on running anything because I don't like to really run anything that much. Ziggy is running our D&D campaign on the home front over here, so he's not going to run anything online. Charlie Chalk said he was going to do a Numenera campaign, but he's really busy in school. He's like a nuclear physicist or some chemist. He's like Walter White. I don't know what he is. He's crazy. He's doing some crazy shit. So I don't know. I don't know what exactly we're doing. We haven't really gotten into it much. So yeah, be surprised if there is, but yeah. Tomorrow, apparently, we are finally doing the top 10 action movies for November. Ziggy is supposedly finally coming over. If it was up to me and just me doing it, it probably would have been done a couple weeks ago. Getting Ziggy over to do something is tricky, to say the least. But he says he's finally going to come over tomorrow before game night, and we're going to do it, so. Yeah, hopefully. Tuesday is the release of the Bloodborne DLC, The Old Hunters, and so I'm planning on doing a blind Let's Play of it. And I'm a little nervous. I'll admit I'm a little nervous of that. I did do a blind playthrough of the Dark Souls 2 DLCs, and those went mostly okay, I think. I don't think those were terrible, but Bloodborne is harder than Dark Souls 2. In fact, last night I was like, I'm gonna fire up Bloodborne and make sure I have a playthrough that's ready to start the DLC and blah blah blah. And so I fought Gascoigne, and I fought him like 3 or 4 times, and I just could not kill him, and I gave up. And I'm sure partly it was my fault. Like, I was just kind of bum rushing him. I was not really prepared and blah blah blah, and it was just. But it discouraged me a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know how the DLC playthrough is going to go. But we're going to give it a try on Tuesday. Wednesday will probably be a Sherlock Holmes consulting detective video for board manging. Because I don't think I'm going to get any other board manging any other way. I just don't feel comfortable bringing a camera and setting it all up at some other person's house And apparently on Monday there might be like 9 people. It's just, no. So Sherlock Holmes I'm not done with, and I haven't done one in a while, so we can do that. Thursday is Thanksgiving over here in the States, so I don't know what I'm gonna, I mean, I'm not saying there won't be a video, but we'll see about Thursday and Friday. Because I have, you know, I have the Fallout 4 videos that I want to keep doing. I have, I mean, the Bloodborne stuff will be going on then, and we have, I mean, I probably was going to do another Puzzle Agent video, but that's really, like, a low priority, to be honest, because I already did 2 videos of it, so I don't know when that's going to happen, if that's going to happen. And then I did want to start Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I don't know. I don't know when. Maybe Friday? I don't know. Times are tricky. There's a lot of stuff to do. So, yeah, I mean, there'll be stuff next week. Don't worry. Hold on. Yeah, so that's the plan, I guess. The basic gist of the plan. I streamed Overwatch on Friday. Because there was a beta weekend, and for some reason, I thought that they invited everybody that was opted in. Because I thought I read that. But Studs apparently was opted in, he did not get invited, so I don't know. But he's Studs, so maybe they didn't like him. So I streamed that. And it was only like a 52-minute stream or something like that because I had no viewers. So I was just like, you know, okay, we'll just make this like a regular video. But it's actually, I think it's got plenty of potential. I did enjoy playing it, and I actually played it again on my own, not streaming. I took myself away from Fallout 4 and played that. And, yeah. I said during the stream, I was like, you know, this seems like a very team-oriented game. It doesn't seem like one player could really, like, just take charge and win the game and go on this crazy streak or anything like that. And then when I was playing on my own, I did exactly that. I went on, like, a 24-kill and pretty much single-handedly won the game, more or less. So that was cool. And Total Biscuit put out a video just today. It was like a 35-minute video where he talked all about it. And, like, he says he's put 40 hours into it. He plays it every day. And he's like, he said this is the most exciting property that Blizzard has released since StarCraft 2. Now, that doesn't sound like that many games since StarCraft 2. Pretty much it's just Diablo 3, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, and a bunch of expansions. But, yeah, he really liked it. And, you know, he says that it has potential to be a really big esport and really just a big phenomenon. And I don't really doubt it. It is a very exciting thing. It's, I mean, he talked about how people are comparing it to Team Fortress 2. And he talked about how it's not really that accurate. And he's right. It doesn't really play like any Team Fortress that I know. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he was talking about how you should be like constantly, you know, switching your character around during a match in order to combat the other team and blah blah blah. And I don't know about that. I like playing as the big mech teenage girl.
Shut your mouth, or I swear I'll shut it. Please, you gotta help me. This guy's a synth, and he's gonna kill me and replace me and my family. Oh God, my kids! Don't you dare freak me. He's the synth, and he wants to replace me. Please, please, you gotta believe me. You can't let that thing do this.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
let's all just
No, he wants me. Don't listen to him.
look.
No.
Why don't you just tell me?
How this?
You won't be.
Oh, thank. Damn it! I'll kill you.
Sure.
So, anyways, yeah, Overwatch is good. I mean, I wish it was kind of out. It's a few months away, I guess. So, and it will cost, you know, $40 or $60 when it comes out. But yeah, if I could get some people together and get a team going and a solid thing going on, I can see that being a lot of fun. I mean, I haven't played Battlefront yet again since the stream, but I played Overwatch again, so, or Black Ops 3 for that matter. I don't know why I bought that. I guess, yeah, I'm just a collector. So that's good. Let's see then. On Monday, we had our game night, and I wanted to do a rematch of Fury of Dracula, but we had 6 people, so, you know, it just is what it is. So, I brought some 6-player games. I brought Codenames, because that's just kind of our go-to thing. Wow, that's crazy. And I brought Ghost Blitz. No, I brought Pit. That's right. I grabbed Ghost Blitz first, but then I put it away, and I grabbed Pit. And I also grabbed then some serious 6-player games that I haven't played yet, and I was like, you know, this could be a good opportunity to finally get around to this. So I grabbed Power Grid, because I feel like it's a big shame I've not played Power Grid yet. Supposedly it's kind of a big deal. And I grabbed Rex. That's a lot of shots. That guy was really tough. But he was a synth. So Rex. Hold on. Let me actually look up the full title for this game. Because it's funny to me. Okay, so it's on the box. It's called Twilight Imperium Rex Final Days of an Empire. That's what it's called. And so it's not a game that I think you strictly need 6 for, but I think everyone says it's best with 6. So I thought, okay, best with 6. So I was like, you know, when am I really ever gonna bring this out? I'm gonna bring Rex, and we'll let them choose between Power Grid and Rex, which is kind of an odd thing because it's like choose between this game about economics and you know, electrical construction and blah 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 and city planning, or choose this game about, you know, aliens races fighting each other over a planet, or, you know, some shit. So we started with Codenames, and we started with like an hour and 15 minutes of Codenames. It was a long time of Codenames. And after the hour and 15 minutes of Codenames, we had to come to a decision. Like, either we have to start one of these big games right now, and it's going to go on for a while, or we have to just play, you know, Codenames and Pit the whole time. And they were like, oh, you know, why didn't you bring, you know, blah, blah, why didn't you bring Coup? Why didn't you bring Skull? Why didn't you bring, you know, something else, you know, some other light games? And I'm like, you know, because I want to play the heavy shit, you know, that's... I mean, I like Codenames, I like Pit, I like Jungle Speed, you know, I like all this light stuff, but that's supposed to be just a filler. If it's just all we play, like, we're just a casual gaming group, and I don't want to do that. I want to play the heavy stuff that I already have a casual gaming group I play with, where I don't get to play stuff like Rex or anything like that, or Game of Thrones, you know. So they decided to just play the light stuff, and so we're like, okay, we can just play more Codenames, but we'll switch over to Pit for now. And then we ended with more Codenames. Like another hour of Codenames. So yeah, I've forgotten how much we enjoy Pit, though. You know, even though I say all that shit, as far as just a very light, loud game goes, Pit is great. It's just simple. Like, anybody can just pick it up in like a minute, and boom, you're pitting. And it's like, you know, there's... For those that are interested in Pit or have played Pit or whatever, I have to say, I probably already said it, but I have to say that you mustn't play with points. Because really, we started out playing like that, and there's no reason to do so. Each set of cards, so like corn or wheat or oranges or whatever, has a point value. And so whoever completes that set gets that amount of points. And so I guess in theory it's supposed to like incentivize some sets and decentivize other sets. Like oranges are not worth very much, but like wheat is worth a lot more. So then more people are going to go for wheat. So you can either compete with them or go for oranges, which people are going to not want because... But really, in practice, the game is just way too intense and loud to deal with any of that bullshit. So just get rid of the points and just keep playing. Don't worry about, you know, who's winning or who's won the most or whatever. You know, just who cares? Just keep going until you're tired of it. You're physically tired, I guess. That's what I recommend. That's what we did, and you know, everybody liked it. I've yet to meet anybody that does not like Pit. So, and as for Codenames, we played 3 games where everybody was the leader, and then we did Pit, and then afterwards we decided to switch up the teams. But really, with 6 people, that just means like 2 people are just gonna swap teams. Is basically how it worked. And so I was fortunate enough to be on the blue team the entire time, along with one of my other friends. And blue team went 6-0 that night. We never lost a game. Blue team is the best team. But man, I don't know how it feels, but it must suck to be on a red team and going 0-6. To lose every single game of Codenames. So I don't know what I really attribute our victory to. I guess we were just in sync. You know, our wavelengths were all connected. Like the final game that we did, our third member of our group like had to go do something, and so it was just the two of us, and you know, our shit was on point. Like, I was throwing out some weird clues for words, but he was on it. He was on it. He got all of them. It was just great. It's just, when that happens, when you're just in total sync, it's the best. It's the best. But when you're not in sync at all and you never win, it's probably the worst. So what can I say?
Nice.
Yeah. So tomorrow, I guess, our next game night. I was gonna not bring Codenames the next time because I want us to just get away from it for a little bit and focus on other things. Because when a filler game takes up, you know, like 2 hours of your night, it's no longer a filler. And as great as Codenames is, and it probably is it's pretty easily my favorite party game. There is other stuff I want to get to. However, it's from the sounds of it, we're gonna have like 8 or 9 people. So I might just bring Codenames so we can all play something together. But after that, we're done. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do if we have 8 or 9 people. I mean, there will be a little Codenames. But then I feel like you got to just kind of split up the group. Whether it's 4 and 4 or 4 and 5, however it is. I'm pretty sure that, I mean, there are games that I don't need to be there, I don't think, to really teach. There are some basic shit that some people can be a part of that I don't have to be like. I'm fairly certain that they can play Skull or Coup, or I think a few of them know how to play Dominion, you know, or something like that, where the rest of us can play something more involved. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's a big group, man. That's a big group. So, on Kickstarter, the Cool Mini or Not launched a new Kickstarter for Arcadia Quest Inferno. And Arcadia Quest is... I want to say it's in the same kind of universe as Super Dungeon Explorer. It's got the same kind of chibi art style. It's a very colorful kind of thing. It's not really too heavy or anything like that. It's similar to Super Dungeon Explorer, except instead of one versus everyone else, it's kind of a free-for-all. It's a PvP game where you're all trying to beat each other, but there's also like monsters involved as well. And there's like quests you have to do, and there's like different objectives, and you get like new gear, and you level up, and blah, 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 blah. And apparently Tom Vassell put it as his 7th favorite board game of all time this year, and it was just funny, on the Kickstarter, they mentioned that. They have like this big image that's like, this is Tom Vassell's 7th best board game of all time! And then during a Q&A the other day, like last week, somebody was like, you know, Cool Mini or Not said on the Kickstarter that, you know, it's your 7th best board game of all time. Like, he didn't know about it. And he's like, well, you know, they're not wrong. Yeah, I watched Tom Vassell's Q&As, so I did not own Arcadia Quest. I've been looking to get it for a while, but it's usually retail for like $70-ish, and you don't like get like anything with it. Cool Mini or Not kind of has a history of doing a lot of Kickstarter exclusives. So here you go, is a great opportunity. This is a standalone version of Arcadia Quest, but with like a hell kind of theme to it, which is cool. And it's $100, and there's already like 15 or something Kickstarter exclusive miniatures and stuff. So many Kickstarter exclusives, it's crazy. But I figured for $100 and I get like all this extra stuff to it, and it's a new thing and it's standalone, I'm in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It should come out like in July of next year. It's already raised like $600 and some thousand. Because it's cool mini or not, it's got miniatures, and it's, you know, Tom Vassell likes it, so boom. Speaking of Tom Vassell, next year, next August of 2016, the group of us are planning. Like this is like a real. There's a Facebook event and everything. This is a plan. I'm not lying to you. We're planning on going to Gen Con. For those that don't know, Gen Con is basically the largest tabletop gaming convention in North America. I guess potentially in like the Western Hemisphere, really. I mean, if it's the biggest in North America, it's probably the biggest in the Western Hemisphere. I would hazard to say it's the second biggest in the world behind Essen, but... or Spiel, I guess. I would guess. But, at any rate, I know it's the biggest in North America. And so this, of course, covers board games. But this also covers, like, role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons, things like that. Card games, just anything that doesn't involve video games is at Gen Con. And it used to be held in Wisconsin. It used to be held in my own state. Like, originally, it was in Lake Geneva, I want to say. I'm pretty sure, because that's where they got the Gen from. And then later on it moved to Milwaukee as it kind of got bigger and bigger. And then not that long ago they moved to Indianapolis, in Indiana, which is a bummer, but it's still not that far away, I guess. So it's a bummer that I wasn't into any board gaming or anything like that when it was in Milwaukee, because I would have absolutely loved to go on like every year. But, shit. Survival difficulty is hard. Since it is not that far away, it's like a 4.5 hour drive. A group of us are going to go there next August. There's probably going to be like 6 of us, maybe 7. It's probably going to end up being 2 vehicles. And, yeah, we're going to get some hotel rooms, and we're going to party it up in Gen Con, and I'm probably going to record some stuff. And shit, I didn't save it all. You got to save a lot in survival mode, by the way. I'm going to bring like $500 in cash purely to buy new board games and shit, and it's going to be cray-cray. And, you know, Tom Vassell, of course, is going to be there. The whole Dice Tower crew's probably going to be there, so I'm going to get my copy of Nothing Personal signed. Maybe get my copy of Cosmic Encounter signed. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great few days. In August.
Just make sure to keep an eye. And come see me if it doesn't get any better in a few days.
And speaking of trips, I know I keep segueing.
I suppose I could speak.
My nephew, my oldest nephew, who is, I don't know. I don't keep track of this shit. He's like 15 or 16 or 15. We'll go with 15. That's probably a safe bet. He's in high school at any rate. Why am I talking about this? I'll get to it. He's in high school and he is studying French for whatever reason. He has decided to go for French. And his class is apparently planning a trip to Paris in 2017. For the record, my high school only taught Spanish. And if you didn't like Spanish, you could go screw yourself. Because Spanish is all that matters. Whereas I hear other high schools, they teach like Spanish and French and German and Latin, like all this crazy shit. Like, no. My high school, private high school, you better like Spanish. You stupid. Estupido. Anyways. And so, apparently they are getting some sort of... They're getting some sort of... Okay, this wasn't properly explained to me. I'm explaining it to you guys, as best as it was explained to me. There's some sort of tour package that they are getting involved with. And it is all-inclusive, which is apparently the term for these kind of things. All-inclusive, that, includes everything. And ordinarily it is $7,000 a person, but they are getting a special group discount or some shit where it's $3,500 per person. And this wasn't exactly explained to me, but I guess they're allowed to invite friends and family, or just family, or something like that. And so his mother, my sister, is going along as a chaperone. And so me and my parents, and I guess anyone else that's interested, was also invited to go along with the same discount. And so if I wanted to go in 2017 to London for 2 days and Paris for 8 days for $3,500, all inclusive, with my parents, my sister, my nephew, and I guess a bunch of high schoolers, that is an option available to me. At first, I was like, that doesn't sound that great. I mean, I want to go to Paris with, like... This is what I said. I was like, I want to go to Paris with, like, my wife or, something like that. And then I realized that's probably never going to happen. I need to be more realistic. If I'm ever going to see Paris, it's probably through this. So, even though I don't like tours and I don't like high schoolers and I don't like any of that, it is a pretty damn good deal, and I'm probably not going to get something like it again, so yeah, I'll probably go. I mean, I'm assuming... I know that to go to Paris, you don't need to know an ounce of French. I'm well aware of that. But if I'm going to go to Paris once in my life, I'd rather know the language than not know the language. So, my studies are going fairly well. I'm far from fluent, I can tell you that. Although Duolingo tells me that I'm 55% fluent, but I don't know how that's... I doubt it. I am... Okay, so like in Duolingo, which some people harp on because it doesn't really... It doesn't really teach you like proper... It doesn't really teach you the language properly, or so they say. But I seem to know more French than I did when I started, so I think it's doing okay. But there's a great number of lessons that you go through, and it's pretty much vocabulary for the most part. But it's just kind of rote memorization of it. Just you need to know the words for all this shit, so just keep going. And so it kind of bunches it up into different either subjects. So it'll be like, this lesson is about food or weather or time or economics or politics or, things like that. Or it'll break it up into, grammatical concepts or things like that. Like, these are the infinitives or future tense or, things like that. And so I'm close to the end of all the lessons that Duolingo has to offer, as far as just straight up learning the words.
Hi, mister.
I mean, if I had to guess, I would probably say I'll be done with it all by, I don't know, February, March maybe, something like that. And I've been doing it for a while. Coming up on this December, it'll be 2 years. But I did take a big break for a number of months. So probably it's been like a year and a few months that I've actually been studying. But since I picked it up again, it's been pretty much every single day, almost without fail. So I'm pretty, I'm pretty serious about it. And I ordered some French children's books, some Dr. Seuss books in French. I know I could have just like downloaded them or something like that, or digitally, whatever, but I think it's cooler to just have it physically. But yes, now that I am fluent, I can look back when I just needed to read Dr. Seuss books. Here they are. I don't know. And so once I'm done with the lessons from Duolingo, they don't really... I don't think they really do much after that. I think you're kind of expected to continue your studies independently. And so that's where I'm kind of hoping to just like go with children's books and then like young adult books, and you just kind of have the internet nearby for any words you don't know and need to look up. And then watch like French shows and things like that, because reading, I think, is a lot different than hearing it and properly understanding it vocally. Like, even at this point, I can do an okay job of translating some basic stuff in text, but if I heard French, it'd be like, okay, I think I recognize that, maybe. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lengthy process. I doubt come 2017, spring of 2017 or whatever, I'll be fluent. I doubt it. But I hopefully should be able to get by in Paris without much trouble. So, it's somewhat exciting. Of course, I would document the process. There would be videos and things like that of Mangg abroad. I've never been out of the country, and I haven't been on a plane since I was 2, and I don't remember it. So, yeah, it would be something. It would be something. Yeah, so that's that. What else? Probably not much really else to say. We did go to Applebee's on Thursday. We thought it might be our last one on Thursdays for a while, but turns out there's a Packer game on the day we were going to start D&D, so it seems like we may have another Applebee's in us. Speaking of D&D, speaking of that campaign, I said that I was going to go with Big McLarge Huge as my character, because I figured he's simple. He's not too complicated. He's not likely to just take over everything. Very, very simple character. But then I came up with something new that is not simple at all and is not a basic character and is likely to take over plenty of things. And I'm going to switch to that because apparently I just like to cause trouble. So I was just at work. I was just doing work the other day, and just suddenly I don't even know what I was thinking of that just hit me with this idea. But I got hit. I got hit with an idea, and I'm like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. It's great. I don't think it's entirely original, but I don't think any of my characters. I don't think you can make an original D&D character at this point. That sounds impossible. But the character concept is of an angel. Yeah, I know. It's a good start right there, right? He's an angel, and he served a god or goddess. I think it's going to be a goddess called Dol-Ara, because I don't think Ziggy is going to do any custom religions, so I just had to use something out of the just existing stuff. And so I was looking at the lawful good ones, and there's one called Dol-Ara that just seems like the goddess of selflessness and honorable combat. I just wanted a really basic lawful good one that that's not like Paylor or something that everybody worships. I wanted something a bit more obscure. So Dol-Ara. So he was an angel working for her as kind of like a shock trooper, I guess. You know, something like a soldier, basically, like a soldier angel type character. You know, somebody who knew how to fight and all that. And there was a kind of a war that occurred between Dol-Ara and a demon lord. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if the DM does not specifically come up with like information for something, I feel like the players are free to kind of come up with their own stuff. And the DM generally is not going to come up with info about everything, okay? Some things he'll explicitly tell you, but I feel like most DMs should at least welcome some sort of player input as far as world building and things like that. So I figure, you know, there's the... there was this kind of not, I guess war would probably be the best word between Dol-Ara and this demon lord, and I'll come up with a name eventually. I'll pick one at some point. And none of the other gods or goddesses were they're kind of segregated, we'll say. You know, they don't really interfere with each other too much. And so Dol-Ara perhaps was overconfident or something like that with this war with this demon lord, and just one day this demon lord just showed up in her domain in heaven or wherever the hell she operates and just started cleaning house, and none of them really expected it, and they just got overwhelmed. And so there was this just really bloody battle. Just kind of think of like Diablo 3, you know, like, you know, Act 4 or whatever, Diablo 3. Just kind of this battle in this heavenly area. And they, you know, angels were just getting slaughtered left and right by these demons. And Dol-Ara herself was slain by the demon lord. And so my character was an angel. And he had, we'll say, you know, a moment of weakness during this great battle, a moment of cowardice. And when he saw, you know, when he saw his goddess fall, instead of, you know, fighting to the bitter end like what is basically expected of him, to honor, you know, for revenge or you know, whatever, to kind of take care of those that have done wrong, these demons, he basically organized like an escape group that fled from the heavenly domain and fled to the mortal realm. And so it was a group of like a dozen of them, a dozen of somewhat not necessarily cowardly angels, because that isn't really a thing, I guess I would say. At least my character is not a coward, but they had a moment of weakness, a moment of despair, perhaps. And so they fled to the mortal realm, to Earth or the planet, whatever. And they went basically into hiding from these demons. Or out of shame or whatever, they went into hiding. And so since their goddess, you know, the one that they drew power from, has been slain, they have lost most of their power, you know, most of their heavenly angelic power. So they don't have wings. They can't fly. They can't, you know, summon flaming swords or any of that shit. You know, they don't really have much power. But since the essence of a deity lingers around for a lot longer than the essence of a mortal, they still are not, you know, defenseless, I guess. They still have some ability. They still have some place to draw some power from. And so my character then is named Khedivis. I think as an angel he probably did not have a name. Again, this is all just kind of like, this is shit that I'm coming up with. But I said that angels don't really have names. They just know if they're being addressed or called or whatever. But he took a mortal name upon, you know, fleeing, upon entering exile. And so I always assume that Elven is basically just Latin. So I like to take names from Latin then. And so I typed in, like, Google Translate, I typed in, like, fallen. And one of the words that came up was Khedivis. So I was like, all right, that sounds good. It sounds like a name, so we'll take that. And so he went into hiding, and they all these escapees basically scattered across the mortal plane. And so he kind of went into exile, just on his own, away from people, whatever. And he basically is just hidden out for quite a while. I mean, it's probably been like, I want to say like 10 years or something like that. It's been a length of time. And he finally received a visit from one of the other escapees, one of the other angels who has been hiding out as well. And the other angel tells him, or ex-angel, I guess, tells him that a few of their compatriots have been slaughtered, apparently by demons. And so they put together that basically the demon lord wanted to absolutely extinguish every remnant of Dol Ara across existence. And so that includes these rogue angels. And so Khedivis decides that instead of just sitting there and waiting for some demons to show up and kill him in hiding, he's gonna go out there into the world and, you know, face his troubles head on to kind of show repentance for his cowardice, his moment of weakness. So he's gonna actually do something about this, and, you know, if he can, you know, make up for what how he wronged his slain goddess. And so that's basically how he joins the group. So yeah, it's definitely not a simple character. It is, you know, and it's for some reason I like to involve religion when I play D&D. I don't know why. It's just kind of interesting to me. So it is another Avenger. I mean, obviously I wanted to play a Divine class, although I didn't have to. I could have easily just played like a fighter, saying that he lost all of his angelic powers, and then later maybe multi-classed into Paladin or something like that. But no, I wanted to play something Divine out the gate. And just playing a straight-up Paladin from 4th edition is just not that exciting to me. But Avenger is exciting to me, which is the same as Ovum. But there are different kind of builds of Avengers. Ovum was a Avenger of a pursuit Avenger. So he was basically, his job was to just hunt down things and slay them very quickly and ruthlessly. Khedivis would be an Avenger of Unity, which is more like a tank. He's kind of wants all of his allies surrounding him. So he's more of a team player. And I figured that kind of made sense with him being an angel. Like that's kind of how they operated, was in groups to maximize their, their efficiency. A host of angels. There you go. So he, yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm playing with two people that really have no experience playing D&D, and I'm playing with somebody who I don't know how much experience he has playing D&D. So I'm likely going to be kind of... That sounds so egotistical to say I'm just going to be the center of attention. But I tend to just be the most vocal component of any group, regardless of how experienced people are. Just because I like to hear myself talk so damn much. But with new people, I think I really have to kind of be the leader no matter what. It's just kind of how it is. And I don't think new players really hate that. I mean, I get some new players would hate that just because of how their personality is. But some people, most people, I think, like having somebody to kind of show the ropes and take charge and, be the face of the group at the very least. So I tend to just be the leader. It's just how it is. I don't know. That's just how my personality is. I'm sorry. It's just how it goes. Sorry, I'm not sorry. But also, I think my character is probably going to be the only one that really has any strong semblance of a backstory. Because when you first start playing D&D, really all you're concerned with is what you're playing as far as a class. Like, for me, when I'm shopping around a new character, I'm like, I say, I want to be an angel who fell from heaven, or, a child genius, something like that. I describe my character as far as a concept. When you're just starting, you say, I want to play a rogue, or I want to play a ranger, something like that. Because these are concepts that you understand, you can relate to, and it's easier to make a character off of that. So I feel, this is what I've heard from them is, I'm going to play a spellcaster, I think. Or, I'm going to, it's not like I haven't said, I feel like playing a spellcaster, but, yeah, my character, that kind of backstory and goals and things like that gives the DM something to work with. And I think DMs appreciate that, usually, is something... a DM absolutely can have his own story in mind, an overarching plot and things like that. But campaigns generally work best when they really involve the characters at a fundamental level, where you have side quests and things like that that really relate to each character's backstory and their wishes and their goals and things like that. And so, ideally, every character should be able to contribute something like that to the story. But in this situation, I don't know if the others are really going to be able to step up like that. So, at the very least, I know I can. And when I told this to Ziggy, like, right away, he was like, oh, I already got, like, a side quest, thought up or something like that. And, I can think of some side quests that Khadivus could get up to as well. He's got demon assassins after him. He's got other angels out there that he could talk to. He's got, this demon lord that he would like to slay someday, but that's kind of a far-off dream. So yeah, it's... I'm probably going to write up a backstory. I don't have to, but I like to write up backstories for these characters. And it's probably going to be in the style of, like, a journal that he, like, started writing when he came down to the mortal realm. Like, day 17. I've decided to start writing what the mortals call a journal. And I feel like I basically have kind of 3 core characters at this point. I have Artemis, I have Ovum, and I have Frederick Zahler. And they kind of form the points of, like, a triangle. And they're pretty set in stone. I know I can, each character kind of fits like a glove for at this point. I know how they all work, how they operate, blah blah blah. I can play them anytime. But now I'm sort of thinking about characters in between those points of the triangle. Like, a character that kind of mixes Artemis and Frederick Zoller, which I would think is Locke Lamora, who is, not exactly a good character. He's kind of, he doesn't exactly do the most scrupulous of things. And he definitely knows his way around a conversation, but he's also pretty much a genius. So that kind of combines those two characters. And Rom, or Khedivas, I feel like combines Artemis and Ovum, who have kind of the a religious connection or strong, motives or things like that, indignation, but also have a very strong, who I can play very intellectually. I mean, I don't play really any character that dumb, but ones where I can actually bring out the intelligence, I like those. So Khedivas, I feel, is a good combination of Ovum and Artemis. I still have no idea what a combination of Ovum and Frederick Zoller would be. I would love to hear what that would be. I mean, he'd be, I guess, maybe like a blackguard, like a dark paladin, perhaps. I might think about that at some point. Yeah, but also one that could talk a lot. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyways, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking for D&D. Yeah, I don't know why I tend to lean towards religion. I don't exactly lean towards religion in real life, but D&D religion is cool, I guess. Anyways, yeah, so we went to Applebee's on Thursday, and we had the same waitress for 3 weeks in a row now. Same one. My favorite one. Coincidence? As Sherlock says, the universe is rarely that lazy. So, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe she just likes the big tip. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. But all right, I think that wraps up this episode of Hanging with Mangg. It's been real. So my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.